Wawatie de Pitlavuma, Indigenous Sovereignty Symposium, Yoda Shinik, Indigenous Sovereignty Symposium, Shidishwedi, Kagibioshik, Jubek Purita, which Kashidimatzi Kagishminik, Nakabing, and this one were Rap Squabana and Man, Kagibi. She was Shubujik, Chogama Kagibio, a week then. Thank you very much for having me here to talk about where I come from, where our people come from, our identity. I'm going to be privileged to be sharing what I've learned in my community, with my elders, with my people, with our children, because it's always a learning process, whoever we meet, whatever we get out of it. I hold this feather here today because it symbolizes the vision of what we want. And it's across Canada, across North America, Turtle Island, it's the same thing. It's a symbolic thing for us. And I hold that feather today. And I'll tell you a story about what the feather is about first. Before I go into a sharing process with you, it's about respecting one another. It's about understanding where we come from, where we meet, and sharing so that Mother Earth continues to flourish and give us what we need to survive. And it's the Anishinaabe mind that I'll be talking about today, where we come from, who we are, the agreements that were made between our people. So again, respect amongst ourselves in the circle, very important for me, just to create that energy for the visitors, for the listeners that are here. This is what my hope is, that I get to share who I am, and so that we come to an understanding about, we are here, you are here, it's about coexistence. The eagle feather represents vision, because it's the highest flying bird that looks after us. And we have a sacred connection to the land, where we offer our thanks through feast. And this is what we're fighting about, our customs. It's all part about our customs. Aboriginal law, the law of the land. And this is what I'm here to discuss. Not in great detail, because this is our internal stuff. The elders always said that, they were very scared of, putting things on paper. And this is why it's about oral history for us. We have to adapt to that now. And this is what's happening. This is one of the things that we are going through. So, I heard this from an elder in our community that talked about an eagle flying around, looking over Turtle Island, and just looking for a community, a tribe of people with a sacred connection with their way, their responsibility, what they were supposed to do. This eagle flew around, and he sees this, normally the eagle feather sees fire, and fire is so significant for us, for the Anishinaabe people, because it brings us heat, brings us warmth. And this is what I wanted the elder that was sitting with his son, we have to continue what we're doing, sitting around in the fire. We have to offer tobacco. We have to always give in return, so that the land, the animals continue to feed us and provide for us. This is what This is what it's about. If the Anishinaabe people get sidetracked or don't do this, you know, terrible things will happen. Destruction will happen amongst the tribe. But it's their responsibility to protect, to practice what they were given down. Our ancestors told us that. You guys have to practice all the time. Do it for the younger generation. We have some younger people here with us today that are from the community. You know, this was passed down to me. The knowledge, the teaching. And this is where the Indian mind, the Anishinaabe mind is about. And our elders always said that. You know, like that saying there, you know, if we all think alike, we can move ground, we can make things happen in our area. And this is what the Anishinaabe mind is, the Anishinaabe thinking, which is our Nakwanigiv, our way of doing things, a way to govern ourselves. So, Eagle goes around the mountains and looks for, you know, community members. They're huddling or meeting or gathering, doing the things that they're supposed to simply do, to meet, to gather, to share. And Creator at that time said, you know, you have to practice this. This is what's given to you. This is what your belief system is. This is the Anishinaabe. We're not going to give it. Anishinaabe Mindenjigin. So the eagle would fly around and you would see nothing happening. But then one day, says, I hope that the native people stand up for their rights, stand up for what they believe in, practice what they're about in a good way, respectful way. Because they're going to lose everything. They're going to lose their way of life, their structure, the social structure that exists. So suddenly the eagle sees going around and he sees the smoke coming out from the mountains far. He sees the smoke coming and he circles around and he's all happy. The eagle is happy, just whirling around in the sky, and he drops his feather. Like where that old man was talking about, teaching his child, what is it that you have to do? You have to do your way of life, your feast, your connection with the land, the language. This is you. This is your identity. And that's what it was about. And this is what the elder said, you know, well, there's hope out there. Something that's happening. People are still doing it. And you have that feather. And that's where that feather comes from for me in my story, my experience. So, I'm here to talk about the wampum belts. Not in great detail, but the significance, what it meant for us. I'm very proud and honored to be talking about this. I'm very emotional about it, because that's who I am, that's my identity. This is my great-grandfather, Pierre Wawatie. He must have been about, let's say, same size, same age as my son today. 10, 11 years old, holding a belt, a wampum belt, a family wampum belt, where the man, woman, and the child had a responsibility so that we could function. The elders, the role that we had, how we raise our children, how we discipline, you know, the social fabric that we see, you know, like the motherliness, the fatherliness, the child within us, eh? That's what that belt represented. And I'll stop there with that one. I just wanted to introduce my grandfather. Here we have a 7-diamond wampum belt, held proud, held high by this man. I do not know this man, but I know the meaning about that. 7-diamond wampum belt represented our agreement within our nation, within our tribe. For example, the Cree, the Algonquin, you know, the Ojibwe, people that were living close to our land. And that was a structure that was set up for us so that we could meet when the time was fit, traveling on the river, you know, so that we can go meet and say, you know, we discuss what are we faced with today. You know, it could be encroachments, it could be hunters, it could be, you know, people that have interest within the resources, within our territory. Simply, that's what it was. It was a place for us to discuss our issues as First Nations people. We could just come together and discuss our issues and to handle it, to deal with it collectively. And I used to hear stories about that where this elder, he had his role to play there too. He would beat his drum, and the drum represented the heartbeat of our people, heartbeat of our nation. And that drum signified that it was time to meet. It was time to meet and start discussing, collecting food, harvesting, and coming together to have a feast for an exchange, for a dialogue, so that we understand where we're going. It's about practice. We would do that in every community across, you know, the riverbeds where we gathered.